Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. I have with me world-class trainer, mentor, and very, very close to the show, Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, how are we doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank God, I'm doing fine.
It's good to have you back on the channel. For people, we've got a lot of new subscribers to the channel. Those who might not know who you are, just give them a quick overview to remind people as to who you are and what you've done.
I'm in the sport of boxing for life. That's it. I'm in the sport of boxing for life, and I'll be here when checkout time comes.
So, but people don't know who you are, Uncle, so just tell them who you are and what you've done. Just, not everything, just a few things.
I'm a boxing trainer. You know, I've devoted my entire adult life to the sport of boxing, and I'd like to think that I'm one of the best teachers out there, if not the best.
Okay, Uncle.
I'm a hands-on trainer. You know, I'm a hands-on trainer, and I think my biggest input is that I'm always in from the beginning. You know, I build fighters from the ground up.
That's always good to hear.
Inject myself into their lives after they've made it. I'm there from the ground up. I roll up my sleeves and I come in from the very beginning and I try to build them up.
Fantastic. Most recently, you've been associated with, in terms of training Alexander Usyk. You led him to the WBO Cruiserweight Championship of the World.
Yes, yes.
And more recently, now you have two fighters, I believe, Vlad Tsarenko
and
Ruhan Visser. Okay. Is there another fighter you've got in the low weight category, or is that just my imagination?
Yeah, it's a young guy down in South Africa. Rip, he's a young kid, just a young boxer. He hasn't done much. He's on right now, but he's 5-0 with 4 KOs.
Okay.
And I believe he's a prospect.
Okay, it's good to hear. Okay, give us an update as to what's happened since we last spoke. Ruhan Visser has now become South African heavyweight champion of the world. Talk to us about that.
Yes, Ruhan did a good job. He was in with an experienced vet. And he did a good job. He stopped him in round 7. But it was a good learning experience. Ruhan Visser does not have an amateur back pedigree, you know, and that means a lot. You know, you have to move a guy like Ruhan Visser slowly until he catches on to what he's doing. He still hasn't, in my opinion, he still hasn't realized his capabilities, his punching power, his strengths. You know, his overall knowledge of the sport is in question now by himself, not by those around him. And once he realizes his potential, he's going to be a good contestant for the heavyweight championship.
He's got in the background the southpaw, the experienced heavyweight. He passed away a few years ago. Can't remember his name again. Big punching guy, knocked out Vladimir Klitschko, won the heavyweight championship of the world, and then Vitaly came and beat him and gave Vitaly one of his toughest fights. Can't remember the southpaw, South African.
South African guy, Corey Sanders.
Corey Sanders, of course. Rest in peace, Corey Sanders. But yeah, how much does Ruan look at someone like Corey Sanders and see where Corey Sanders, who really was a guy that had tremendous punching power, but often came to ring?
The fighter, you know, the South African fighter, these guys, most of the time, they step up and they always become top contenders and lethal threats for the heavyweight championship of the world. I expect no less from Ruan Visser. I think that he's going to be a contestant for the heavyweight championship as soon as he learns what he's doing. As soon as he learns his capabilities, I think that he's going to be a lethal threat for the heavyweight championship.
Okay, well, let's talk about Vlad Tsarenko.
Vlad Tsarenko has an amateur pedigree. Vlad Tsarenko is a hungry young fighter, and he's a good puncher with both hands. Great boxing skills. And him and Ruan together, they're benefiting from each other because Vlad brings out the best in Ruan, and Ruan brings the best out in Vlad. So I think that is a win-win situation with the two of these guys working together.
So what's happened with Vlad Tsarenko? We know that Ruhan just picked up the South African heavyweight title. What's going on with Vlad?
Vlad fought in Austria a week ago. I can't get guys to get in with Vlad, you know, at his level. So I've got to start matching him in levels above what he's capable of right now.
Okay.
Because I can't get guys at his level to get in with him. So I'm going to start matching him with guys just above his level. And his desire will make him achieve what he needs to be a contender.
How far away do you see Vlad Tsarenko being from a legitimate challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world?
I think 18 months. He's only got 5 fights, four knockouts, or maybe 6 fights. And 5 knockouts. I don't recall just what it is, but I think he's legitimately 18 months away. You know, by then he should have much more experience with more seasoned opponents, and he'll be ready for the big time. He's already been in with Joe Joyce, you know, and in boxing Joe Joyce. He boxed Joe Joyce, I think, about 25 rounds. And just staying in with Joe Joyce for those 25 rounds told me Vlad Tsarenko's ability, because Joe Joyce is no walk in the park.
Okay, Vlad Tsarenko, you mean he was sparring with Joe Joyce, right?
Yes, we was in sparring with Joe Joyce for at least 25 rounds, and they were very spirited rounds from both guys. And you know, that told me something about Vlad Tsarenko's ability, his desire, and his willingness to work. Because in many cases, when you put boxes in with somebody of Joe Joyce's caliber, they shy away from it. The next day, they either got a backache, a toothache, or a handache. But Vlad Tsarenko didn't do that. Vlad Tsarenko came in each and every day. And when I told him that we was in with Joe Joyce for 6 rounds, each session was 6 rounds, he didn't shy away from it. He came in. He also sparred with Bermain Stavern, you know. Mm-hmm. And at the time, Vlad Tsarenko only had 3 fights. And each of those 3 fights ended in the first round. So he really didn't have that much professional experience. But he was in there with these guys, and Joe Joyce was hitting him hard, and he was hitting Joe Joyce hard. So yeah, I think I expect a lot from Vlad Tsarenko, and I expect inside 15 to 18 months that we'll be on the highway where the big guys are.
So what's the next step, and how is it working out? Because obviously Ruhan Visser is South African, and Vlad is Ukrainian. So how's it going to work in terms of location, fight dates? Where are you going to be based?
Well, primarily we're working out of South Africa. Our gym, our training camp is in South Africa because we're 3,000 feet above sea level, and that's a win-win situation for both guys. So we've set up our training camp in South Africa. You know, that's what we're working out of regularly.
So in terms of getting quality sparring partners, how are you going to go about that?
Well, we get good sparring in South Africa. We have guys that come in from Johannesburg, and they're good guys. They give good sparring. You know, they're not noteworthy guys, but they know how to fight.
Okay, and that's good enough for you at the moment.
Yes, at this level right now, that's good enough for me. I don't want them in a situation where the sparring becomes overbearing and they're all beaten up when they come to the fight. So the sparring that I'm getting down in South Africa from those guys that's coming in from Johannesburg and different surrounding areas in South Africa is good enough for me. It's good enough for them to learn and grow.
So when will we see Ruhan and Vlad fight again?
I hope very soon. I really do. I hope very soon. I'm looking for the best contention that I can find in South Africa to give Ruhan time to educate himself on the logistics of boxing before I take him to the world. I want him to box the best boxers in South Africa. Vlad, on the other hand, is different because he's had amateur pedigree. I can move him a little faster with bigger names in the sport. You know, and I'm looking at some names for next year. Maybe even some names for this year if I can get them, you know.
Would you consider bringing Vlad to the UK and fighting in some UK heavyweights?
Of course. I want to bring both guys to the UK. You know, I'd like to put Ruhan with Cash Ali or Vlad with Cash Ali right now, you know. I'd like to fight those guys.
Why do you select Cash Ali? There's so many heavyweights and you bring out Cash Ali. Why?
Because Cash comes to fight. Because Cash knows something about boxing. Because Cash can give them good contests. I'm looking for competitiveness for these guys. I don't want to bring my guys along fighting gimmies. I want to fight people who know how to fight. Cash, I think, would be good at this level for both guys, Vlad or either one.
Okay. Anybody else? Give me the sort of level that you think that was good for Serenko, even a British or American name that we can have an idea about, who you think would be good for Serenko to fight now?
There are a lot of good guys out there, you know, for Serenko. You know, like I said, Vlad's only got 5 pro fights.
Right.
So I don't want to overstate, you know, what his capabilities are. So I don't want to put him in too soon. But there's some competitiveness out there. You know, there's some good guys out there that can give him the work that he needs to grow. You know.
Joe Joyce is being pushed in real quick with Haymaker Promotions, and they want to push Joyce to fight Chisora, and he's had only a handful of fights as well.
Well, Joe and Haymaker Promotions, I guess they see something that everybody else don't see. Maybe they know something about Joe Joyce that other people don't know, that he's ready for that kind of competition.
What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know what to think about that, you know. I don't know what to think about that. Like I said, David knows Joe better than I know him, or the people outside of boxing or in boxing knows. And he's pushing him to fight Derek Chisora. And I don't know whether it's a good idea or bad idea. But obviously David knows something about Joe that everybody else doesn't, because he's trying to take this fight. I think it's Joe's 3rd professional fight with Derek Chisora. And I don't know whether it's a good idea or a bad idea.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it. But, you know, like I said, they're working with each other, so maybe he knows something that nobody else knows.
Did you manage to watch the card by any chance of Joe Joyce fighting Donny Palmer?
No, I didn't.
What did you make of Donny Palmer?
I saw that, it was 38 seconds, I mean. Donnie Palmer, I don't know whether it was something bothering him mentally or maybe something bothering him physically, but in my mind, from what I saw, it didn't seem like he wanted to be there.
That right hand made sure he didn't want to be there, though.
Well, the way Donnie Palmer was stooping down, he was stooping down into the punch because he's much taller than Joe Joyce, and he was throwing his jab, and he was firing the jab and going out the ring at the same time. So he was setting himself up to get hit with the right hand. You know, he set himself up. He just set his face there to be hit with a right hand.
He was doing a lot of talking before the fight, though.
Yeah, well, talking ain't boxing, that's for sure. You saw that when the fight happened. And then when he got up, he didn't show with his enthusiasm. He didn't show the fire that the referee was looking for, and the referee called the fight off.
Mm-hmm. But did Donnie Palmer have any realistic chance of even causing Joyce any problems?
That's why they took the fight. You know, I mean, a lot of the guys in boxing, including Donnie Palmer, they don't surround themselves with teachers. You understand? But even with a teacher, you got to show some grit. You got to show some confidence. You know, as Emmanuel Stewart would always say to me, he would say, if these guys cannot survive the rigors of the gym, then you can forget what they're going to do in the fights. You know, and it seems to me that Donnie Palmer wasn't in any rigorous environment to prepare him for a fight with Joe Joyce. He got nailed with a clean right hand right on the chin, and he had no business being there for that right hand. He had no business being there. He's tall enough and long enough to box Joe Joyce without even having his chin nowhere near that right hand. He was throwing the jab and looking away, you know. So it was, to me, it was an embarrassing performance.
What about the idea of Sorenko fighting Joyce?
I wouldn't put Sorenko with Joyce right now. I don't want to rush Vlad Sorenko. He's only 22 years old. I don't want to rush him into something like that. I wouldn't put him in with Joe Joyce right now. I'm looking to put him with Joe Joyce maybe 2 years down the road, you know. Okay. I want Vlad Sorenko to grow. I want him to grow in confidence and experience.
Let's talk about this growing a fighter, developing a fighter. A lot of fight fans don't seem to get the idea of developing and growing a fighter. Often they want to put a guy who's had a few knockouts, or want to stick him in a world title fight, and not really understand the management and the progression, the marinating of a fighter. Talk to us a bit about that, Uncle.
You have to bring a guy slowly. You know, the guy has 7 or 8 knockouts now. They want to put him in with King Kong and Godzilla and all these other creatures, you know. But no, you have to move a guy slowly to build them in confidence. Boxing is an unnatural sport. It's not natural for human beings to punch on each other, to knock each other's brains around and stuff. So you have to let a person and the fighter, the entity, grow in confidence. You know, with each win, and depending on how that win comes, they grow. So you don't want to try to subject them to something that they're not prepared for. Because just like one fight, 2 fights can build the fighter's confidence, one fight can destroy that confidence. And sometimes that confidence never returns. So no, I don't want to rush Vlad Sorenko into nothing. I just want him to fight step by step, like walking up the steps. I don't want him to rush into something that he's not prepared for and destroy the guy's confidence.
In respect to confidence and fighters being rushed into fights, David Price has got an upcoming fight against by Alexander Povetkin. Give us your thoughts on this fight between Povetkin and Price.
I think that Povetkin is going to knock out Price. I don't think Price has recovered from the setbacks he's had in his career. I don't think he's actually recovered. I don't think that he has had the chance to grow in confidence. He's just coming from one situation to another situation. I just don't think that he can beat Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin is mentally, physically, and experientially prepared to knock out David Price. Now, David Price came up and got a knockout over Alexander Povetkin. Then I can say that David Price is back in the race. But in my mind, David Price is finished.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
he's been out. He's been defeated by TKO or either KO, 4 or 5 times?
Yes, that's true. It's true.
It's hard to come back from that.
It's very hard to come back, and I totally understand what you're saying, Uncle, about Price. But Povetkin's not actually no spring chicken. He's not, you know, I understand this about Price and Povetkin, but just to try and sell it for Price fans, what about the right hand that Price has got? If that lands on Povetkin and Price just jumps on Povetkin, he's bigger, he's physically stronger, he's got longer arms, he's got the length, he's got the height. If you just jumped on Povetkin for first round, forget the boxing, jumped on Povetkin and just try to take his head off from round 1, how does that work out for Price?
2 factors come to mind when you say that.
Right.
The chin
Mm-hmm.
and the heart, the determination.
Okay.
I don't see that in Price. I don't see it. I don't see that. It just looks like Price folds up his tent when things don't go his way. He folds up his tent. Look, give me my marbles. I want to go home. Those are the 2 things that Price has not impressed me. He has not impressed me with his determination, his willpower, and he has not impressed me with his chin. I just don't see it. You know, I just don't see it. I allow room because Price is a big guy. He's got a big punch. But what happens when somebody takes the punch and fights back? That's
the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, that is the problem. But if he kind of like for one night only, you know, okay, Uncle, if you just put Price in a room.
Look, you had Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, I see people on the internet, they always talk about Tyson wasn't this, he wasn't that, he wasn't this. Tyson fought Buster Douglas and took a hell of a beating from Buster Douglas before the end came. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Before the end came, he took a hell of a beating. He showed determination. He showed willpower. He showed a good chin. Mike Tyson was in with Razor Ruddock back to back. I think they fought 4 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
And he took some hellacious punches from Razor Ruddock, and he didn't go. He didn't fold up his tent. He stayed there for the long haul, and he fought back. He fought back. These are the attributes that any observer is looking for in a boxer. You've got to be able to take it. You can't just be a giver, because in boxing, you're going to have to take it sometime. And that's when the character comes out of the boxer. That's when, you know, people will say, okay, let's see what he can take. Where's his durability at? And you know, the Price doesn't show me that. He hasn't shown me that.
I'm just trying to fight a case of Price, which in my heart of hearts, I don't believe he stands a chance against Povetkin, but I'm trying very hard to fight for Price and just, you know, just somehow see some way that he can beat Povetkin.
You know, Povetkin, I underestimated him to a degree. I underestimated Povetkin to a degree until I saw him in the fight versus Vladimir Klitschko in Russia. And I sat very close to ringside, and I watched the punches that Povetkin got hit with from Vladimir Klitschko. And if Vladimir Klitschko can't do nothing else, he can punch with both hands. and he was hitting Povetkin. He was hitting Povetkin on the temple, on the chin, in the jaw, in the body. And Povetkin would go down, and he would get back up. So I know that he's a determined.
I heard a whisper, and I don't know how true this whisper is. I heard, whatever you do, don't knock Povetkin out. Take him the distance. That's what I heard. Is that true?
What happened?
He was told, under no uncertain terms, do not knock Povetkin out in Russia. You can beat him, don't knock him out.
You look back at that fight, you tell me Vladimir Klitschko wasn't trying to knock him out. And I say that, no, that's not true. If you look at those punches that Vladimir Klitschko was hitting Povetkin with in that fight, you can see Vladimir Klitschko was trying to knock him out.
But every time Vladimir throws it shots, he's throwing a right hand and still walking backwards because he's scared of getting clipped himself.
Well, I can't say yay or nay on that. You know,
it's true. It's true though. Vladimir, his style is like he doesn't unless he knows. Hold on, Uncle. Hold on. Not now. Go ahead, Uncle. You there, Uncle? Are you there? Hello? Hold on. The beauty of live live interviews, as we were saying before we got rudely interrupted. Go ahead, Uncle.
Povetkin took punches. He showed determination. He showed grit, and this is what the fans and the pundits and the media alike. This is what people look for in boxing. I mean, they're looking for grit. They're looking for dig down desire to say that I want to be there. That's what the excitement about boxing is all about. When you can take it and come back and give it.
That is true. I mean, like I said, I really would like to see Price do it, but logically, technically, just everything is like, if there was a such word called everything, Lee, it's in Povetkin's favor. Unless he gets shot overnight.
Listen. Watch Price fight on numerous occasions. And I've always been rooting for Price. But continuously, he does the same thing. He folds up his tent, he goes away. He gets hit, he goes down, he doesn't come back. You can only give a guy so many chances to be something.
One of the biggest issues I have with Price is his jab. I mean, for a big guy, he's still pushing his jab out like he doesn't know how to throw left jab. I don't know why he doesn't throw a good ramrod jab. And he's got long arms, and he must have some power there. So why doesn't he throw a decent left jab?
I'm constantly on Roland Visser to strengthen his jab, to make his jab quicker, to make it more lethal, to make it more threatening, to make it more respectful. I'm always in Ron Visser's face, Vlad Sarenko's face, saying you've got to strengthen that jab. You've got to make it quicker. You've got to make it more lethal. You've got to make it more respectful. You got to bring it back to your chin. not back to your waist, back to your navel button, bring it back to your chin. I'm always on them about that. I always try to make them aware that boxing is a game of give and take. You know, and there's going to be a night when I'm going to be in your face like a dentist, screaming and howling, saying, you've got to do more. You've got to win this round. You've got to do this or that or the other. I always try to make them aware that boxing is not a daycare center. This is not a gimme, you know, and that things are going to get tough and rough in that ring. And I want you to be able to respond. So that's the way that I train them. I push them to the limits in training to make them understand that if you want to be the champion, that you've got to be willing to take it. You know, you've got to take it. Nobody's going to give you nothing.
Okay.
Christ seems to look at it, you know. I honestly think that Britain is coming forth with good fighters. You know, Britain is coming forth with good fighters. But again, I go back to it. They're absent real teachers.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of teachers there. I don't see a lot of teaching. There's not a lot of teaching in South Africa. There's not a lot of teaching in America. You know, I see some trainers, they have some good fortune with a boxer that can box. They have natural attributes, that learn well, that go out there. And once they get that boxer, then you can't relay nothing to them. You can't tell them nothing because they think they know it all. But I'm observant. I'm very observant. That's why I am in boxing, because I'm very observant. I observe things. And when I do, I see arrogance, ignorance combined. You know, even with the boxers don't recognize good teachers when they see them because there's so much BS out there that they embrace it now. You know, they embrace nonsense.
When we're talking about trainers, Don Charles seems to be going for a bit of a hard time at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wrote you about Don Charles. Don is always, every time I see him, he's in an apologetic position. You know, he's always said that, well, my guy didn't do well tonight, and I don't know what's the cause of that. You know, I don't know what's the cause of that, but he's always in that position. I've seen him 3 times in a losing position, so I don't know what's the cause of that.
But you know, the thing with Don, he doesn't get the guys fresh off the conveyor belt. He doesn't get an Olympic champion sent to him. He doesn't get a world champion sent to amateur champion sent to him. He gets a lot of guys that have been with other trainers, apart from Chisora, we've been with other trainers. Guys have got, you know, their careers are derailed, and Don tries to kind of use the expression, inverted commas, father them and kind of mentor them back, and he's good for that. But it's a shame when guys like Don Charles don't get fighters that they can get from the start and really mold. The one guy he's had is Chisora, and you can't really knock Don Charles for that. British, Commonwealth, European champion.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, it does not have to be Don himself. He just probably didn't get a good break. You know, a lot like myself, I don't get good breaks. I'm always with the guy who's the underdog. I'm always the guy that got to bring the guy back from the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been bringing guys back from the graveyard. I've always got to be the guy to come in at ground zero, you know. I never walk into a championship position, you know. I mean, Usyk was a godsend for me in so many words because I had a chance to exercise my knowledge through him, and he grasped my knowledge and he took it and he ran with it. You know, so that was a plus for me. You know, I mean, we were good for each other.
Absolutely.
He did a lot for me. You know,
absolutely.
In most cases, I had guys like Maurice Harris.
Yep.
Got starting from behind the cart, and I had to bring him to the forefront of boxing. I was able to exercise my knowledge through Maurice Harris. You know. I used to get on Harris so much. We used to argue and fight so much to get something done. And then one of the trainers told me, I'm trying to think who it was, told me, he said, listen, man, he said, you and Harris had a lot of good nights together. You understand? You guys clicked pretty good, and you guys had a lot of good nights. He said, so don't think about the bad nights. He said, think about all the good nights that you guys had. You know, then think about the nights that you worked in the Lennox Lewis camp, and the Mike Tyson camp, and the Ray Mercer camps, and these different guys. He said, Harris always, and Vladimir Klitschko, he said, Harris made you look like a genius. And then I thought about it, and I said, you know, but he's right. You know? So now when I think about Maurice Harris, I think about all the good nights that we had together, all the good times that we had together, working in those training camps and working for the fights themselves. The night that he fought Sergey Lakovic, when he was supposed to lose the fight, and he went out and knocked out Sergey Lakovic. The night he fought James Thunder on a 5-day notice and went out there and knocked out James Thunder. You know? So I'm the night he won the fistful of dollars by decision in Tony to beat Price. You know, so he did a lot of good things for my career as a boxing trainer, and I did a lot of things for his career as a boxer. So after the trainer told me that, they said, those are things you need to think about, you know? He said, think about those things, and then you'll forget about the bad nights. So that's what I try to do when I think about Maurice Harris. I think about the good times that we had together.
Okay.
You know, what we were able to achieve together.
Okay. On the subject of good nights and bad nights, Dillian Whyte had a good night last night, and Lucas Browne had an awful night last night. Talk to us about that.
Lucas Browne wasn't in the fight. He never was in the fight. He looked at depleted. What has he been out 2 years? That was not a good fight to take after a 2-year layoff. I think that was a bad idea. I think his brain trust totally disrespected Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte taught him a lesson about being disrespectful. This is why I'll go back to the Vlad Serenko and Ruan Vissa. You know, these are young guys. Ruan Vissa is 27 years old. Vlad Serenko is 22 years old. There's not a big rush. There's not a big rush to rush them into the big fights. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be confident going forward. You know, you come back after 2 years layoff, and then you're going to fight a guy like Dillian Whyte. Mathematically, that didn't make much sense to me. And he paid for it. He paid for it by sleeping on the floor with his face down to the floor. I don't know whether he'll ever recover from that. How old is Lucas Browne?
38.
Yeah, well, you know, I can see the exit signs in his mind after that knockout.
I mean, Chris Mason was on our show last week. He said that his intel told him that Lucas Browne was not in great shape coming into this fight. And that was when he was in the UK.
How could he be after 2 years off the job? How could he be in good shape?
Hold on. Hold on. We're going to hold you right there, because there's a man who's making a comeback after 3 years, which is Tyson Fury. We're going to talk about Tyson in a minute, but I wanted to bring the relation between Tyson coming back after 3 years and people expecting he can just come back and become world heavyweight champion. He's top of the division. And you've got Lucas Browne, who's been out. Albeit Tyson's far more skillful than Lucas Browne.
Tyson's asking for trouble too. You know, you can think something in your mind. I've done it, you've done it, and most people do it. We can get here and we can throw a couple of imaginary punches at an imaginary opponent, but it's different when somebody's ducking and dodging and hitting you back in the body, hitting you on the temple, hitting you on the chin. It's different. It's a different cry, you know? One of the things is I think that Tyson Fury um, made a bad move in replacing Peter Fury with a new trainer, a new non-proven trainer. I don't even know the guy that he has now, but I've seen some of the work that they've done on the internet, and I'm not impressed. You know, I mean, you can hold pads and run around a ring if you want to, but it's the dilemma that you have to face in the corner. That's the big test for a trainer, to know when to make a left turn, when a right turn, when to master gas, and when to master brakes. You know, there are critical points in a fight that a trainer's got to know when to hold them or know when to fold them. You know, and that's what I think that he's going to be confronted with when he comes back. Now, he may think in his own mind that he can stay out 3 years and come back and, you know, manhandle Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder and Dillian White. It looks that way from your armchair with a cold beer in your hand. But once you're up under those lights, those hot lights, and you're getting hit, and the guy's ducking and dodging and wrestling with you, it's a different story, you know? I think that's what Fury is going to be confronted with.
What do you make of Fury saying he's going to try and beat Joe Louis' record of 25 defenses of the World Heavyweight title?
I think he's just talking right now. I think he's just talking. I think he's just talking. That's his mind and his will and his desire to talk. You know, like I said, he's in the gym and he's doing different things with different poses and acts and stuff like that there, but he still has to get in the ring and fight. Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, these guys are fighting. Their machinery is oiled and they're prepared to fight.
People think the suggestion is well, Tyson's young, you know, he's got the skills, he's got the talent, he'll come again, no problems. He lose all the weight and he'll be okay. Is it as simple as that?
It's never as simple as that. It's never as simple as that. Again, boxing is an unnatural sport. It's the art of hit and being hit. You're not going to get out into a fight without being hit. You understand? So now he's lost almost 125 pounds. You know, he's been out 3 years, and now he's going to get in there and try to perform for 12 rounds, 10 rounds, and he's going to perform with youthful guys that's been fighting all the while. It's not going to be that easy. I don't see it being that easy. And he's doing it without a Peter Fury. I put it like this here. I like Peter Fury out of most of the European trainers. I like Peter Fury because Peter Fury has an insight to boxing. I'm more apt to work with Peter Fury coming into European boxing. I'm more apt to work with him in British boxing as opposed to anybody else there. He's the guy that I would be comfortable working with because we think alike on different terms, different applications. We think a lot. Which applications they were, I won't say here on the air, you know, but I talked to Peter, I've been around Peter, and we think alike on different things. I think that Tyson did himself a disservice by taking on a new trainer and excluding Peter from that corner.
It seems a common theme with fighters when they become world champions and achieve their dreams that the guy that got them there seems to get ditched to one side, and then they bring these people on that you've never heard of. I.e., Usyk got rid of you, and then brought in some other guy. Kovalev got rid of John David Jackson and brought in some other guy. Who else? There's quite a few of them that bring in trainers that you never heard of after they've achieved things.
Well, you know what it is. A lot of the times, these guys have amateur background. Some of them be gold medalists, and they figure that I know what I'm doing. I don't need a trainer. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I don't need a trainer. I just need somebody there to put the towel on me and tell me the light is green or the light is red, and I can handle the rest. I don't believe that. I think that all boxers need competent trainers. You understand? Because there's always that time in a fight when a fighter is exhausted, when he's gotten hit, when he's dazed, when he needs direction. Ala Dundee with Ali and Leonard, you know, you've got to have that experience there, you know. But I think a lot of times that the boxer thinks that I don't need a trainer, you know. I can bring in anybody in that corner and I can basically dictate to them what I want, what I need. The trainer doesn't have to have that much experience. I can get that's what my opinion is. Now that might not be the case. That might not be the case. But I believe that's the case. That's my opinion. You know, by right, I felt that, you know, that I should have been the one to train Vladimir Klitschko. I think that I could have taken him down different avenues. Jonathan Banks, good guy, had been a small partner for Vladimir Klitschko, but he was inexperienced. He was 30 years old when he got the job. What do you know at 30 years old? The average guy don't know jack at 30 years old. At 30 years old, you're just coming into the true manhood, responsibility, bills, and things like that. So I felt that I could have done a better job in guiding him, but he chose Jonathan Banks, and Jonathan Banks was getting experience on the job. He was learning on the job, and I felt that there was a lot of things that he missed, you know, because of his youth, not because of his insight to boxing. He had insight from being trained by Emmanuel, but having insight from being trained and then being the trainer is two different entities. And I thought that he was making mistakes along the way. And the things that highlighted that was in the Jennings fight and in the Fury fight, you know, and even in the Joshua fight, you know, there were critical things that were overlooked, I felt, you know, that could have helped him win those fights more handily, you know. And it didn't happen. So, you know, you can't, in other words, you can't replace experience. You can't replace application. Experience and application goes hand in hand. You can't deal with one without dealing with the other one. You understand? You can have experience but no application with no experience. You got to have two of them. It's like a marriage. You got to utilize that in the fight.
So you tell.
I feel that these guys, Usyk, Tyson, and a lot of guys, I think that they feel that, you know, I don't know what it could be. It could be money. It could be maybe I don't want to pay this trainer on that level. I can pay this trainer this much on this level, or comfortability. Maybe I'm more comfortable with this guy. You know, I can dictate to him as opposed to the trainer dictating to me.
So what happens with a yes man in the corner? What happens if your trainer's a yes man?
Well, that's what I'm alluding to. In most cases, that is the case. That I can steer the trainer the way I want to steer. You know, I can do the things that I want to do as opposed to having a trainer that's going to put his foot down and say, listen, if you want to be successful, this is what you have to do. It can't be two bosses in boxing. The boxer has got to have complete confidence in what that trainer is teaching and the trainer's application. He's got to have complete confidence in what the trainer is teaching or the application, or the relationship just won't work. Myself, I've got to be in control. It's not a thing like I'm just stepping on the rights of the fighter. I know what's best. I've got Vlad Serenko, who's 22 years old. I've got Rowan Visser, who's 27 years old. I've got grandchildren older than them. So what do I look like them telling me what they need to do, what's good for them? What kind of nonsense is that? And I've been doing this for 48 years. So what kind of nonsense is that you're going to come and tell me what's best for you? No. Because I came into these guys' careers at the very beginning. You understand? I came in at the very beginning. You know, Ron had some fights, but I've made the difference in Ron's career in just over 15 months. Over 15 months, I've made the difference. Vlad Serenko, nobody wanted to touch Vlad Serenko. Right here in Ukraine, nobody wanted to touch him. But I saw something in Vlad Serenko. I said, come with me and I'll change things. Come with me and I'll teach you some things. Because I'm in a position to teach. I've been in boxing all this time, and I've been around some pretty good guys. Ray Mercer, Al Cole, Lennox Lewis, Tim Witherspoon, you know, Monty Barrett, Jamil McCline, Shannon Briggs. I've been around some pretty good guys. I've taught some pretty good guys a few things here and there. You know, my knowledge may not be the Holy Grail, but it's close to the Holy Grail when it comes to boxing teaching. I'm a teacher, then I'm a trainer. You know, I'm a teacher, and then I'm a trainer. So I don't want to be in a situation where the boxer is going to tell me what's best for them. No, because it's like a contempt for me. It's like a disrespect for me. You got to listen to what I'm telling you, because I know best. I was doing this here when you were coming, when you came from the womb. I was doing this here. You understand? And I can teach you some things. I can tell you some stories about boxing if you are interested in learning. But if you're not interested in learning, then take that shit and go somewhere else. I don't need it.
Okay. What about a fighter that doesn't need a trainer, like Chris Eubank Jr.?
Well, you see what Chris Eubank Jr. is now, right?
He's fighting. I hear a rumor he's fighting for the IBO title in a rematch against Quinlan on ITV.
Yeah. Who was the guy he's fighting? Who was the guy he was fighting when he won the IBO title from him? You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Who is the guy? The guy is nothing but a boxer, but nobody knows him. Nobody respects him, gives him credibility for being a star boxer. So it's another situation for Chris Eubank Jr. to get a title. You know, just to get a title. He'll beat the guy again. The guy was a gimme in the first place. Chris Eubank Jr. feels that he doesn't need a trainer. But where's Chris Eubank Jr. gone? Where has he gone? Every time he stepped up, he got beaten. So where's he going? Arrogance. You know, arrogance will keep you from making progress. You got to be humble to be able to go forward, you know? Most of the boxers around today, they think that they know, and they really don't know.
He actually thinks he won the fight, by the way, Uncle.
He thinks he won the fight.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I don't know, maybe he's on some kind of drug or something. He didn't win the fight. It was an ugly fight. It was a wrestling match, and he lost it. You know? And he's probably the only one that thought that he won the fight.
Okay, let me talk about a fight that's caused a lot of controversy on our channel. Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker. One side of the fence says Hughie Fury won the fight. He outboxed Parker, but it was politics that lost in the fight. And on the other side of the fence, it's like Hughie ran all night long. Parker won the fight and he didn't throw enough punches. Your thoughts as an experienced trainer?
It was an ugly fight, but Parker won the fight. It was an ugly fight, but Parker won the fight. Huey Fury did not win the fight. Huey Fury did a low budget imitation of what Tyson did with Vladimir Klitschko, but it didn't work. I wouldn't have given him the fight. I wouldn't have given him the decision. I thought Parker won the fight by the skin of his chin, but it was an ugly fight. In fact, I have never looked at the fight again.
Huey's 23 years old. He came off 2 years of illnesses, and he came back and fought straight away. Never fought at the level with Parker. And a lot of people say, well, it's the end of him. But he's 23 years old. Where do you think he belongs in the future?
Well, it remains to be seen. I mean, he's fighting Sam Saxon. Sam Saxon when was the last time that Sam Saxon had a fight?
He fought the other day and won the British title against Gary Cornish. He beat him for the British title, and now he's making his first defense against Huey Fury in Bolton.
Gary Cornish? He fought Gary Cornish?
Yes.
You see, those fights don't... How old is Gary Cornish now?
Just probably about 30, maybe.
Yeah, but what has Gary done?
I think he won the. I think he won. I think he won the Commonwealth title at one point. I'm sure he did.
Yeah, but
he's the guy known as the guy that fell over again. He got knocked out by Joshua.
I think Sam's better days are behind. I think Sam's better days are behind him. Huey should win that fight. I can't wait to break into boxing with Lazarenko and Juan Visser based on what I'm teaching them. I can't wait to break into boxing with those guys based on what I'm teaching them.
What do you make of the? What do you make of the development of Dillian Whyte under Tony Sims?
I think that Dillian Whyte is mediocre at best, and I'm not saying that to be insulting. He got away with a dead body last night. He got away with a dead body last night, and that's all I can say. I don't see any real progress in Dillian Whyte. He's strong. He's willing, and he can punch a little bit, but I haven't seen any real education from Dillian Whyte. I've seen some brute strength, some rough stuff, but I don't see any really growth.
Where does he stack up against Wilder? Everyone's pushing for him to fight Wilder now.
Well, he's got to punch his chance.
Well, so did Luis Ortiz.
But Wilder's got to punch his chance too. I've got to sit back and I've got to re-examine what I saw in the Chisora fight with Dillian Whyte, which I didn't really, I really didn't get nothing out of that fight. It was just two guys out there slugging each other.
Yeah, my apologies, not Sims. I always mix those two guys up. Tibbs. It's Mark Tibbs. I was thinking about it. Mark Tibbs, who works with Dillian Whyte. Thank you for that, JD.
Yeah? What about him?
I was making a correction as to who Dillian Whyte's training with.
The fight before that was with Derek Chisora, am I right?
Hellenius.
Hellenius and Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
And before that deal was Chisora and Dillian Whyte.
Yes.
I didn't see any growth in either one. I didn't see any growth in those fights. I saw the same Dillian Whyte. I saw the same Dillian Whyte. I didn't see anything aside from the norm, that I didn't see anything, in other words, to get excited about. Maybe I'm too much of a
Okay. The development of Anthony Joshua under Robert McCracken, one of the leading trainers in the UK. Well, I didn't say that. That's just what people say. I'm not saying one way or the other. That's what people are saying.
I don't see any growth. I don't see any growth. I see the same Anthony Joshua that I saw 4 or 5 fights ago. You know, I saw the same Anthony Joshua that I saw 4 or 5 fights ago. You know, I think that that a person shouldn't wait for something to go wrong. I think that they should troubleshoot, observe different things in their own self before the inevitable happens. McCracken has shown that he's doing the best he can, but I see some chinks in young Joshua's armor. I see some chinks in his armor. You know, maybe because I come from a different school of boxing than the current trainers does today. I'm looking at different things that's going on in the tutelage of young Joshua, and I think they need to observe and try to correct those things before he gets in with a better boxer. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, they could probably say F my opinion. You know, but that's my opinion. I don't see any growth. I see these guys being stagnant. Nobody introducing different things. Just so many things I look at when Joshua was working with McCracken, when Dillian White was in that ring. I so many things I see that they could do, that they could be doing, that they could be planning, and I'm not seeing it.
Okay, Uncle, I know off air, you know, where your mindset is with a lot of these situations because we're that close. But for people who are listening in, they might just, for the first time listening, saying, oh, this guy's just saying that because he wants to train Joshua. He's just saying that because he wants to fight White. He's just trying to put his name out there. Explain to people what you mean by, without going into too much detail, because of course you don't want to be training trainers. But let's give us an example. You talk about Joshua.
Well, I just see different things that Joshua is capable of doing that he's not being taught to do, that he's not, those thoughts are not being interjected on him. I see so many different things that's not being done. And like I said, I'm not putting the trainers down. No, I think that they just haven't made those observations yet. You know, they haven't made those observations yet. And that goes for Tyson Fury's trainer. That goes for Dillian White's trainer and for Joshua's trainers. It's not that I want to train them. I wouldn't mind training them, but I don't have to beat the drum to get a job with anybody. You know, anybody that has worked with me knows that I know what I'm doing. You know, and my credentials are intact, and they're not overrated. But there's so many things that I'm seeing with these guys, little flaws that can be corrected, that should be corrected. That's why Vlad Sarenko and Ruan Vissa, I want to come to the world with those guys so they can see what boxing technique is about. I'm investing so much in these two young men that I'd be very disappointed if they could not follow through with it in the ring. So I'm putting pressure on them. I'm putting pressure on them long before they get to the pressures of situations. I'm putting the pressure on them that I'm teaching you that when we get out here, this is what I expect you to do. And I reinforce that with them inside of the gym. Not when we get to the dance. No. I see trainers training boxers in the locker room. That's not the place to do it.
In the ring, training them as well. In between the rounds.
I see them in the corner before the bell rings, giving them to watch your left hook before no, that's not the place to do the training. The training takes place inside of the training regime, the gyms, the training camps, you know. And a lot of trainers are not up to the task. You know, the boxers just don't realize it yet until they lose. But my thing is, I want to correct things before we get reached a point where you're going to lose. I want to correct it. I want to correct it in the gym, in the training camps, and I want to know that we get it right when we get to the fight.
So you don't subscribe to the fact that Joshua is an unbeatable heavyweight champion?
No, he just hasn't faced nobody scientific enough to beat him. He just hasn't had nobody scientific enough to beat him. But there are some chinks in his armor. You know, some chinks in his armor. They just haven't, like I said, they haven't had the experienced teachers to formulate a strategy to beat him. You know, he's beatable. He's beatable. And how he's beatable, I wouldn't say. Not on the air. I'd only say to the guys that I'm taking against him things that he can be capitalized on.
So your thoughts on Kevin Barry and Joseph Parker?
I think that Joseph Parker is not ready for Anthony Joshua. Momentum-wise, I think that Joseph Parker needed more time to adjust to his role as the heavyweight champion. Maybe 4 or 5 more fights before he comes against Joshua. To get comfortable, you know how you buy a new pair of shoes, you got to break them in.
Yep.
You know, you got to break them in so they can get adjusted to your feet, the width, the length of your feet, and your heels and stuff. You want to try your stuff on and wear it for a while to really get comfortable with it. And I don't think that Joseph is comfortable with it. I think he's being interjected into something that he's not prepared for.
You think,
and I think that
the best way to say it is you think that his team are cashing him out?
I just think they're just too gung-ho. I just think they're just too gung-ho. That they should have waited. I feel like they should have waited maybe 2-3 more fights before they put him in with Joshua. You know, to make sure that that the shoes are broken in. He's just got a new pair of shoes on, and they haven't been broken in yet.
So how much does having a good chin and punching power and good stamina help Joseph Parker, and hand speed help him against Anthony Joshua?
He's got good hand speed. I don't know how much that stamina is going to play into the condition, because I think Joshua will put it on. I think Joshua will put it on him. I want to go on record and say that he's going to put it on him, and they're going to put it on him before the 7th round. Inside the 7th round, I got Joshua knocking out Joseph Parker. Too much too soon. Joshua, again, is better suited mentally. All right? Physical attributes, they may be equal, but mentally, Joshua is better suited for the task, and I think that Joshua gets him out of there inside of 7 rounds.
Just as a sort of because I spoke to Huey the other day, how does a fight between Huey Fury go against Anthony Joshua, in your opinion?
Anthony Joshua knocks out Huey. Too strong, too aggressive. Too strong, too aggressive. Anthony Joshua beats Huey Fury right now and knocks him out. I think he stops him in 10 rounds.
Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2?
Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte 2 is tough. I think Dillian Whyte wants that fight. I think Dillian Whyte would be up to the task better the 2nd time as opposed to the 1st time. So I think the fight would be tougher for Joshua the 2nd time around, but I still got Joshua winning the fight.
So you don't think that Huey's elusiveness and his hand speed and his movement around the ring?
Nothing with Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
I don't think it means nothing with Anthony Joshua.
What about Deontay Wilder? That's the one people want to know your thoughts on.
Deontay Wilder against who?
Anthony Joshua. That's the one.
You know, Deontay Wilder, the more I watch him fight, the more I'm starting to understand him. He's got this chemistry. You know, he's got this awkward, unpredictable chemistry that only he understands. You know, it's sort of like a Ronaldo Snipes dropping his hand and rolling punches, and everybody was saying that's the wrong way to box. But it worked for Muhammad Ali. You understand? It worked for him. Prince Nassim Hamed. I used to tell Emmanuel, I said, let Nassim Hamed box the way he wants to box, because it works for him. So Deontay Wilder is much like the same. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when he gets cracked on that chin and somebody can follow through on it. You understand? It's sort of like when Vladimir Klitschko hit Joshua. The point was Vladimir Klitschko couldn't finish the job. You know? Ortiz hit Wilder on the chin, but he couldn't finish the job. I don't know what's going to happen when he gets hit on the chin. But right now, that crazy style that he has is working for him. So you can't condemn him now because he beat Ortiz. And I said that if he got past Ortiz, I got to show him a little more respect. And I am showing him that respect for him. You know?
Okay.
I think Joshua is better technically. I think that Joshua is as strong and punches as hard. And I would lean towards Joshua, but you can't count Deontay Wilder out. You can't count him out because he's 40-0.
Let me ask you another question in terms of Tyson Fury coming back. Do you think we'll ever see the Tyson Fury that fought Klitschko coming back? Do you think he'll come back better than that, or do you think that's more that ship has sailed?
I think that Vladimir Klitschko allowed Tyson Fury to get away with that. His antics, his style. I think that Vladimir Klitschko allowed that. I think Vladimir Klitschko should have cut the ring down and engaged body punching more than what he did. So I think that it was partially Fury, and it was partially that Vladimir Klitschko didn't step up to the plate and stop that nonsense. So it depends on the boxer allowing Fury to do that. If a boxer allows him to run around the ring and do that stepping forward and back and doing those things, then it's gonna be a Tyson Fury show. But if you have one of those boxers and there's no nonsense boxers, no, you're not gonna do that. I'm as big as you are, I'm as strong as you are, and I'm coming forward, I'm cutting the ring down, and I'm gonna make you fight. I think if a person makes him fight, he won't do as much.
Okay.
He won't do as much because that's a energy sapping style that he has.
Okay.
It's an energy sapping style that he has.
Okay, very quickly, a couple of questions before we come to the end. My battery's coming low on this. A couple of questions to Uncle Bashir before we leave him. So get your questions quickly if you've got any questions. Tyson Fury versus Joshua, your thoughts?
Tyson Fury versus Joshua?
Yeah.
I take Joshua by decision.
Okay. Fury versus Pulev or Shannon Briggs?
Fury by decision.
What, for both Pulev and Briggs?
Yes.
Why?
Well, Shannon's been out too long. Pulev is not active enough, too. But Tyson Fury's style and his size will allow him to get away with a lot of things with those guys.
Okay.
Especially with Shannon.
Okay. The return of Bryant Jennings, where does he fit in the heavyweight mix?
I don't think that he's done enough over the last year or two. So it's an iffy situation with him.
Okay.
It's an iffy situation with him. Brian Jennings has been too inactive, so you really can't say yay or nay with him.
Okay, fair enough. To close, is there anything, Uncle, you want to talk about before we go? We've got a minute or two left on the phone.
No, not in particular. I'm just waiting for the events to unfold, you know. I'm waiting for the events to unfold, but keep in mind that I said that Anthony Joshua would dominate and knock out Joseph Parker inside of 7 rounds.
You still say Joshua to stop and knock out Joseph Parker inside 7 rounds.
Yeah, he knocks him out inside of 7 rounds. I don't see Joseph Parker being able to put any kind of a dent in Anthony Joshua's ship at all. I don't see him doing nothing.
Okay, it's interesting.
I would be very surprised, very surprised if he could do anything with Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
You know, that's it. Tyson Fury, the jury is out on Tyson Fury. That weight loss that he's had, I understand he was 125, 150 pounds overweight. The weight loss that he's had, he's been out, nearly 3 years? So the jury is out on him, you know?
Okay. James Doherty saying Briggs could not last more than a few rounds against Fury. No way would it go 12 rounds.
Well, it depends on what Tyson has, what Tyson's going to do to wear Briggs out. Briggs has been inactive, but Tyson Fury's been inactive. You know? So I think that maybe the fight will go, it may be a sleeper, you know, where both big guys just go to distance. Okay.
And Spartacus the Great says, yeah, with a premature stoppage, Joshua wins.
With a what?
Premature stoppage.
Premature?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's going to be premature. I think it's going to be justified. I think that's going to be justified. I think that Anthony Joshua is going to make a statement with Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is going to try to come forward to assert himself, but after he feels that wood that Joshua's gotten in his hands, it's going to be justified. Like I said, he stops on the side of 7 rounds, and the stoppage will be justified.
Okay, and final question: Dillian Whyte, Dominic Breazeale, who wins and why?
Wow, that's an explosive fight. Dillian Whyte should win that fight, but Dominic Breazeale comes to fight. He's awkward, he's strong, he's big. You know, that's a good fight. That's a good fight, but I got Dillian Whyte winning that fight by knockout. But it's going to be an exciting fight. Okay.
We'll catch up with you soon again, Uncle Bashir. Thank you so much for being on the channel.
I look forward to it.
Uncle, thanks again. Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. So there we get it. We've got Uncle Bashir breaking it down, talking the heavyweight division from Fury to we didn't talk about Bellew versus Hay, but I guess Uncle Bashir will be back before then. But yeah, we talked mainly about Parker, Joshua, Furies, who else? Joyce. We talked about Vlad Tsarenko. We talked about Ruhan Vissa and the heavyweight division, boxing trainers. So it's interesting. James Doherty says, I think Mr. Bashir is very right about AJ Parker. That's how I see it. And Mikey says AJ dominates Parker. Okay, guys and girls, thank you for listening in. I hope you've enjoyed the insight of Uncle James Ali Bashir. This is BWTM Sports. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And thank you to all the people, the new subscribers that hit the channel. We've had an influx of subscribers. And if you're one of those new subscribers, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And of course, if you've been here from day one, thank you for sticking around. We appreciate you. Really good stuff to come out still on the channel. At some point next week, I will release, I don't know when yet, but we'll release some more footage for you Fury fans. We've got something waiting for you. And check out some other stuff I've been recording at the gym as well, outside of Team Fury. So check that out. It's coming on the channel soon. I think it's something you all enjoy. Take care. This is BWTM. We're out.